So think about this from a man's perspective, because I always in a coaching session try to put people in another person's shoes in order to help them to realize where their faults are and where it is that they can improve, right? Let's put this in perspective, right? From the time that I'm born all the way up until, let's just say, I'm 30 years old, because a guy don't really start to really get to that bag. I'm going to read the super chats in a minute. Thank you, Eugene Steele. Let me just go ahead and address this right now. He says, another reason why proper vetting and courting are so important. You are trying to take the precaution into who you're dating. That's a fact. I like that, Eugene Steele. Look, let's be real. Let's really put it in perspective, right? From the time that I'm born, thank you for the super chat, all the way up until, let's just say, 30 years old. Because a guy really doesn't really start to make money and really come into his own to where a woman truly sees the potential in him in most situations, especially in American culture, until he's close to about 30 years old, because that's the time that he's starting to really get comfortable in his career. Most guys have started to make a decision that they want to do things a little bit differently, or they want to get their life together, or they're starting to put away all of the childish things, or they may have graduated from college and they just now starting to get their feet from under them. When it comes to getting in corporate America or their business or they hustle, and they really starting to find out who they are, right? And from the time that you're born all the way up until 30, which is 3 decades, you've been learning, you've been groomed, you've been working, you've been hustling, you've been suffering, you've been learning all of these life lessons that you then now finally start to put together, right? And now that you're starting to put it together, it's a possibility that you can give it all away for the next 18, 20, 25 years to a woman that was waiting on you to be a finished product and she had nothing to do with your success. Now, why would a man in 2023, considering every single thing that he's had to do, I mean, there are men that strived their entire lives in order to build a legacy. I mean, you talking about men that have made sacrifices, been in the mud, slept on park benches, invested everything that they had, everything in their being. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about your time, your equity, your sweat, your hustle, your grind. And then he finally starts to break through after all of the failures that he had in his life. And then it all can just be whisked away with an accusation. It all can be whisked away with the improper vetting, or overlooking a small detail as far as making sure that you get a prenuptial agreement the right way in a document. In any environment, especially when you're looking at things from a business perspective, you weigh the pros and the cons in order to determine whether or not this is a good business idea. You say, well, what are the margins? And what is the possibility of me failing? What's the barrier to entry? How much is it going to cost me to even get into that in the first place? Why would I do that? And should I trust that person from a character perspective in order to do business with them? Because I don't want this to come back and bite me. Even in crimes, you even being around the wrong person makes you an accessory to whatever crime that they committing. And if the most important thing that you ever do in your lifetime is who it is that you sleep and lay next to, because again, and I said this on the Lapeef Let's Talk show last night, I said, think about this for a minute. You will go and close your eyes and go to sleep or possibly walk around naked with a person that you've never even truly understood, met, or vetted properly, meaning having sex with them. You will close your eyes and go to sleep with them, and you don't even know this person from a can of paint. Everything about relationships today is a liability. The only reason why we continue to populate the earth is because our urge to get our nut off is much stronger, which is why we have post-nut clarity. Our urge to get our nut off sometimes is much stronger than our desire to look at things clearly, which is why post-nut clarity is so revealing. The only reason, think about that for a minute, the only reason why we continue to populate the earth is because we can't even control our dick. But the dudes that get to a point to where they actually value themselves more than what it is that you feel at that moment, and you start to really truly understand your value as a man, When you can start controlling your urges and you can have a level of discipline, you start to see life a completely different way. You start to look at the assets and the liabilities, and there's no bigger asset or liability than the person that you lay next to every day. And the overwhelming majority of the women that's in society today is a liability, because why should I deal with a woman that has not shot in the gym with me, right? Because that's the only way that you can say that you deserve anything. Most women will lead into a conversation saying, I deserve this. I deserve a good man. I deserve to be loved. You don't deserve anything. You deserve what you earn. It ain't a human being on this earth, myself included, that deserves anything outside of what it is that I've been able to earn and work for. She already led into the conversation the wrong way. She already led into the conversation the wrong way. And so you bled, put your life on the line for your country. Some of y'all, I know a lot of guys that joined the military and the Air Force and the Army and the National Guard. Then you put your life on the line for the country and you've educated yourself and you leveled up and you had a vision for your life. And then it's a chick that's waiting for you at the end of the finish line after every single dude in college busts her down. And you supposed to value her according to how she see herself in the mirror. That's a liability. You are who you attract. If everything that you get is a dude that don't care nothing about you, that means you're not as valuable as you thought you was, baby girl. You're not as valuable as you thought you were. I don't care what you look like. It's the biggest myth that they've ever heard of. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you got a BBL. I don't care if you light skin, long hair, red bone. That don't mean nothing to us. Think about it. Think about it. Come on, y'all. Let's talk about it real quick. I'm about to read the super chats in a minute, but let me cook for a minute. Think about it. Think about the dudes and what their wives are like. The way that they value those women is how it is that they're raising their children. They don't care nothing about how long their hair is. Now, what their preference is and whether or not they'll cheat on them is a completely different conversation, and maybe we'll mine that out tomorrow night. But they care about whether or not that woman is nurturing to their child, because the child is the most valuable thing to a man. It's the thing that they look at as their legacy. Look at Snoop's wife. Look at Denzel Washington's wife. Right? Look at all of the women that are wives and then try to understand how the men value those women. You're not looking at the results and then try to reverse engineer what's going on. You just looking at what you want. You're not looking at how it is that we're supposed to get it. And everything in life, they tell you to reverse engineer it. When you go to school, K through 12, even going into college, they put this thing in front of you and they say, listen, I'm about to teach you a lesson. They say, listen, the goal is to get the diploma. The goal is to graduate from high school. The goal is to get a good job. The goal is to get my degree. The goal is to get in the engineering program. The goal is to get in law school. The goal is to get in medical school. And so what they do subconsciously to you is that they tell you what the overall picture is, and then they reverse engineer it. And they say, listen, we're going to break this down into milestones, and we're going to say, listen, in order for you to continue to go down this path, you got to graduate from the 9th grade. Then you got to get a sophomore, and then a junior, and then a senior. And then they reverse engineer it some more, and then they break it down and even in more milestones. And they say, well, we're going to do it by semester. And then we're going to do it by class. And then you got to get this grade, and you got to pass this class, and you got to have this syllabus. They've broken down how it is that you're supposed to look at life holistically in order to be successful. They've done it to you your entire life. Once you get on your own and you don't have any kind of home training or structure or somebody that's pushing you or coaching you or giving you some insight and information on how it is that you're supposed to be successful, when you have the option to choose for yourself, if you ask somebody what it is that they want, they're going to say, I want to be happy. I want a man to take care of me. I want to feel good. I want to be successful. You have nothing that you're actually striving for. And so as a result, you can't reverse engineer how it is that you're supposed to get there. So what happens with women in a lot of instances, because they've done this when it comes to their career. They've done this when it comes to getting educated. The most educated, the most enrolled. They pick the bad degrees, but they're the most enrolled, right? And so what happens is they start to choose for themselves based off of emotion instead of a real tangible result. So they don't know how to get there. And when you don't have a purpose, when you don't have something that you're striving for, anybody can fuck you.